Good evening, students. This is my second and in fact last video for explanation of Act 3 Scene 2. I'm going to complete the explanation today. Let us move on. So I had discussed in my last video that Bassanio has received a letter and he looks very disturbed after reading the contents of the letter. So this is now what he's telling Portia about the contents of the letter. Oh, sweet Portia, here are a few of the unpleasantest words that ever blotted paper. Gentle lady, when I did first impart my love to you, I freely told you all the wealth I had ran in my veins. I was a gentleman. And then I told you true. And yet, dear lady, rating myself at nothing, you shall see how much I was a braggart. So he's explaining what is there in the letter, but before that he's trying to give her a background understanding. So he says that when he met her for the first time, he had said that he belongs to a good family, that he's a gentleman from a good family, but he had also talked about his wealth, and he said the wealth is in his blood, that is, he belongs to a good family, he has a good reputation. But he says what he says at that time was true. He had not lied to her. And yet, dear lady, rating myself as nothing, you shall see how much I was a braggart. So he says, but I do not, he says, I do not really have any value. So he says, you will think, you might get the impression that I was bragging, I was showing off by pretending to be someone very rich. So he goes on then to tell, when I told you my state was nothing, I should then have told you that I was worse than nothing. For indeed I have engaged myself to a dear friend, engaged my friend to his mere enemy to feed my means. So now he is saying that the truth is that he was not a rich man. He is a gentleman, he belongs to a good family, but he did not have enough wealth or money to be able to woo someone who's an heiress, someone like Portia. So he had taken favor from a very good friend. He had sought help from a good friend, and that friend in turn had taken help from another person who's a very dark-hearted person, a black-hearted person, almost an enemy to this person. But in order to help Bassanio, his friend had taken help from an enemy. Here is a letter. Here is a letter, lady. The paper has the body of my friend, and every wound in it a gaping every word in it a gaping wound, issuing life blood. But is it true, Celerio? So he says, now I have got this letter from that same friend who had helped me in terms of money, in terms of fortune. He had helped me, and in order to help me, he had taken favor from a person who was a very wicked person, from an evil person. So today the letter has contents that have shaken him up completely. The letter contains very disturbing news, and that is why he says that he equates the letter or compares the letter to the body of his friend, of his true friend. And he says that every word that friend has written in the letter is like a wound which is spilling blood, which is oozing blood, which is bleeding. So the contents of the letter are very painful for him to know. But just to make sure, as a last resort, he confirms it with his friend Salerio. He says, is it really true? Is it true, Salerio? Hath all his ventures failed? What? Not one hit from Tripolis, from Mexico and England, from Lisbon, Barbary and India. And not one vessel escaped the dreadful touch of merchant marring rocks. So he confirms what he has learnt in the letter. What he has learnt in the letter is that this friend is a merchant, and he sends his ships for business to other countries over the troubled waters, and they do business and they come back with their business and the profits of the business. But in a spurt of very bad luck, all his ships have met with accidents, and all his ships have been wrecked from different ports, those that had gone to different places, to different ports. And here he names the different ports. Students, it is very important for you to know all the different ports where Antonio's ships had been sent, and all of them have been shipwrecked. They have met with accidents. They have struck against rocks along the shores or in the middle of the ocean, and they have all been very severely affected by those rocks. So the contents of the ships have all been um, wasted in the sea waters. So there is no profit with which any of the ships have returned to the shores. And he names these shores. Please remember these shores. He says Tripolis, that is in Lebanon, Mexico, England, Lisbon, that is Portugal, Barbary, and India. So all these were places from where Antonio was trading and was expecting profits, but all his ships have been lost at sea. So Salerio says, yes, that bad news is indeed confirmed. Not one, my lord. Besides, it should appear that if he had the present money to discharge the Jew, he would not take it. Never did I know a creature that did bear the shape of man, so keen and greedy to confound a man. So Salerio gives the news that it is true that all the ships have been lost at sea. Whatever is the reason, the ships have not returned. Either they have met with accidents or they are lost at ship, and the agreement between him and the Jew from whom he had borrowed money was that the money would be returned, the amount that he had borrowed for Bassanio, he will return that amount to Shylock, the Jew from whom he had borrowed money, as soon as his ships return. Now the ships have not returned, they have been delayed, but there is money that can be arranged. He can arrange money to return the amount to Shylock, but Shylock is wickedly refusing any money. He says he wants the money he wants the return of the money only according to how it has been set in their agreement. And the agreement said that the money will have to be returned when his ships return. So he says the present money, that if he had the present money to discharge the Jew, he would not take it. So Shylock is refusing money from any other source. That is why Salerio is criticizing, is cursing this Jew and says that he is not a human being. He is actually a beast. He is actually a cruel animal in human form. So he says, a creature that did bear the shape of man. He is not fit to be called human. He only looks like he is a human. So keen and greedy to confound a man. He is so interested not in his own profits, not in the return of his money, but only to punish Antonio, to cause pain and trouble to Antonio, to confound Antonio. He just wants to destroy him. He just wants to trouble him further. He plies the Duke at morning and at night, and doth impeach the freedom of the state if they deny him justice. So he says he's constantly been going to court, and he's been talking to the Duke, that is the powers that be, the governors of the state, of the place, and he is saying that he wants justice, and he says that it will bring a bad name to the state. It will show that the state is not equal in its rights for everyone if he is denied the rights that have been asked for in this document, in the agreement that he has made with Antonio. So he wants the bond to be forfeited. He wants what has been promised in that agreement, in that bond. He does not want the money, and he has been constantly pressurizing the Duke. People have been trying to reason with him. So he says 20 merchants, the Duke himself, and the magnificos of greatest port have all persuaded with him. That means important people of the city, 20 other businessmen, the Duke himself, who has great rights, who's in a very important position, and other noblemen, other rich men have all tried to reason with him, and have asked him not to take what has been promised in the bond, but to take the money. But none can drive him from the envious plea of forfeiture of justice and his bond. But he is refusing to accept their pleas, he is refusing to listen to them, and he says he does not want the money from any other source. He wants what is promised in the bond. So he wants forfeiture, he wants the return of what has been promised to him in his agreement. So Jessica, who is his daughter, also is speaking against Shylock, and this is what she says. When I was with him, I have heard him swear to Tubal and to Chus, his countrymen, that he would rather have Antonio's flesh than 20 times the value of the sum that he did owe him. And I know, my lord, if law, authority, and power deny not, it will go hard with poor Antonio. So Jessica also confirms the news. She says that she had observed her father talking to his other friends, other Jew friends. She names two of them, Tubal and Shus, and she says that he is confirmed that he wants what has been promised in the bond. He does not want the money now. And what has been promised in the bond, that if in due time, this is not mentioned over here, this will be explained later, but I am telling it to you over here, that the bond has said that in due time, in the promised time, if the money is not returned to him, and that money would have come from the ships that were returning with his business, with his profits, that if in that time the money is not returned, that he is that then he has due right to extract 1 pound of Antonio's flesh, and he's very serious about extracting that flesh. He says that even 20 times greater the amount of money Shylock will refuse to take. This is what his daughter is confirming. And I know, my lord. So she says, she's telling Bassanio the grim news, the sad news, that Shylock is very serious about not accepting the money. Even 20 times that money he will not accept, but he will go ahead with asking for the pound of flesh, which means it is very bad news for Antonio. It will go hard with poor Antonio. Portia, is it your dear friend that is thus in trouble? So Portia wants to know. She is not yet aware of the full situation, so she wants to confirm if this is a very close friend. Bassanio says, the dearest friend to me, the kindest man, the best conditioned and unwearied spirit in doing curtsies. So Bassanio tells in great detail that this is his best friend, and a person who has a very good heart, who's kind to everyone, who is doing good deeds to everyone. Unwearied spirit, he has a very lively heart, he's a very lively disposition, and he's always doing kind acts to everyone, and one in whom the ancient Roman honor more appears than any that draws breath in Italy. So Rome is known for very good men, good gentlemen with great characteristics, who are loyal to friends and who are loyal to their country. So Antonio is the best example of such Romans, and he's the best kind of Roman possible. That is, he's a true gentleman, he's a true friend, and he's loyal to his country and to his friends. So then Portia starts asking objective questions. She says, what is the amount that has to be returned? So she says, what sum owes he the Jew? So Bassanio tells, for me, that is the amount he borrowed was for Bassanio, 3,000 ducats. So Portia says, what, no more? Now Portia is a rich heiress, so she says this is not an amount that she cannot handle. So she says, pay him 6,000 and deface the bond. So she says she can very readily pay double the amount of money, and then the bond will be of no value. The bond will be cancelled, negated. Double 6,000 and then triple that before a friend of this description shall lose a hair through Bassanio's fault. So she says not only is she willing to pay double the amount, but she is ready to pay 3,000 3 times that amount, because he is such a good friend to her husband, such a loyal friend to Bassanio. So before even a hair from his head is displaced, she will act and she will make sure that 3 times that money is returned as the amount that has been promised in the bond. 3 times that amount she is ready to return to the Jew. First go with me to church and call me wife, and then away to Venice to your friend. For never shall you lie by Portia's side with an unquiet soul. So she just says that let us quickly get married, go to church, solemnize our vows. So she says, I will not be a wife to you, I will not be sharing my bed to you if you are not calm and happy in your heart. So you are worried about your friend, let us just get married quickly, and then you go and help your friend. You go and be by your friend's side. So with an unquiet soul, that is she says, I will not keep you with me if you are so worried, if your soul is so troubled. You shall have gold to pay the petty debt 20 times over. So she says, once you are married to me, you will become my husband. So you will be the owner. So you will be the owner of all the money that I own. So she first offers double the money, and then she offers triple of that double. So she's ready to give any amount of money. She says, you will have 20 times that gold. She says, to pay the petty debt 20 times over. So she says she can give even 20 times the amount that has been promised in the bond. When it is paid, bring your true friend along. My maid Nerissa and myself meantime will live as maids and widows. Come away. So she says, go, give him that amount, give him 20 times that amount in gold, and we will wait for you. Nerissa and myself will wait for our husbands without celebrating, with no joy, no mirth. We will live like widows till you return. So then she tells them all to go away, come away, for you shall hence upon your wedding day. So she asks, so she says, you must go away from here on the same day that we are getting married. Bid your friends welcome, show a merry cheer, since you are dear bought, I will love you dear. But let me hear the letter of your friend. So she says that let us just get married, let us make things clear now, let us all celebrate. There is no reason to get worried. I have so much money, I can give 20 times the amount. So since you are dear bought, that is, after a lot of trouble, I have got you as a husband. It was not an easy choice, because you have also had to make such a difficult choice of the caskets. So he is not a husband that she has won easily. He's dear bought. So he is very valued for her. He is very precious to her. I will love you dear, and therefore she's trying to prove how deep her love is for her husband. But first she wants to know the exact contents of the letter. So she asks him to read out the letter word by word. So Bassanio starts to read. Now I'm going to read the letter. Sweet Bassanio, my ships have all miscarried, my creditors grow cruel. So the ship, at once the letter has announced that my ships have all miscarried. That is, the profits are all lost. This is very important. The contents of the letter are very important. Very precisely, Antonio has told, my ships have all miscarried, that is, all his profits are lost. My creditors grow cruel. That means all those to whom he owes any money, they have become very hard-hearted and very demanding. My estate is very low. So he says, right now the amount of money that I am owner of is very little. So I am not in a position to pay my creditors, to pay the people to whom I owe money. My bond to the Jew is forfeit. That is, it is ready to be for payment. It is now is the time that I have to pay the amount that has been promised in the bond. But I do not have the money. And since in paying it, it is impossible I should live. So according to the bond, if the amount that is not paid in the due time, and it cannot be paid in the due time because his ships have all gone. So now what is being demanded in the bond is a pound of flesh. So he says, since in paying it, it is impossible I should live, because after giving out a pound of flesh, nobody can live, nobody can survive. All debts are cleared between you and I, if I might but see you at my death. So he says he is forgiving Bassanio. He does not want Bassanio to return any amount of money to him. He is such a true friend. He says, now it is the time for me to forfeit my bond, to make the payment that has been promised in the bond, and if he will pay it with his flesh, obviously he will not survive. His only wish is that maybe at death he will once be able to meet Bassanio. Notwithstanding, use your pleasure. If your love do not persuade you to come, let not my letter. So he is still very humble in his request. He is still very accommodating. He says his only wish is that before death, at my death, he should once be able to see his best friend, his dear friend, Bassanio. But if Bassanio is busy with the new pleasures that have come into his life, and if his lady love, so he should continue enjoying his company, the company of his lady love. And if the lady does not allow him to come, it is all right. The letter is also not forcing him to come in any way. So he is so accommodating and so soft-hearted. This is the character of Antonio that we get to see from the letter. Very important. Please prepare all the important contents of the letter. The letter is very brief. So the points are very clear. He starts by saying that the ships are lost, so no profits, no money is coming from the return of the ships, and his creditors, mainly Shylock, is demanding the full sum at the right time, and the sum is not the sum of money. He has no money to repay the sum. So right now he has to pay with what has been promised in the bond, which is a pound of flesh, which means he will die. So his only desire is that he should once meet Bassanio before he dies. But if his love will not allow it, he should not come. Portia, oh love, dispatch all business and be gone. So Portia is very moved and she says, please stop everything, every business, immediately go to your friend. Bassanio, since I have your good leave to go away, good leave means your permission to go away, I will make haste. Haste means in great hurry, I will try to reach my friend. But till I come again, no bed shall ever be guilty of my stay, nor rest be interposer twixt us twain. So he says, till then I will not get married to you. I am going to go with your permission to meet my friend. And he says, uh, uh, he will not even rest for a second. There will be no time wasted till he will reach his friend. So he will not even go to his marriage bed, and nothing will keep him separated from Portia or from his friend. So he says immediately he will reach his friend. He says he will not let rest, that is physical rest, make him stay, make him be a hindrance between him and his friend, that is between the two of them. Nothing can keep them away. Immediately, in great hurry, he will reach his friend because Portia has given him permission. So with this, in a hurried manner, he exits and he goes away to solve the problem with his friend, to try and be with his friend with Portia's permission. He says he will not even rest. Immediately he wants to reach his friend. Nothing can be an interposer, nothing can stop them from coming together now. So this is the fourth video that I have recorded in Act 3 to complete the scene. This is Act 3 Scene 2 now completed. The fourth video has now completed my discussion of Act 3 Scene 2. I will be sending another video. Some of you had requested that I should give an explanation of Abu Ben Adam, the poem, and I will be doing that hopefully soon. I will be sending another another video with explanation of that poem. Thank you very much.